sick. I had a really bad cold that was making it difficult to go an extended period of time without coughing. But I'm back, and I've been holding off on doing this one thing. I actually bought this game a while ago, and I've just been waiting until I've been well enough to do this video. So, this is actually, it's kind of like an expansion of a game that I already own. But it's also standalone, so let me show you what I'm talking about. There's a game called Villainous. If you're a Disney lover, you might appreciate this game. It is a game about being Disney villains. And the way that it works is that everyone has their own win condition and their own set of cards that they're working with. And you basically have to try to complete your objective while preventing all of the other villains at the table from completing theirs. So you play cards and you do various things. Let me show you here. So, here we are. Which villain are you? This comes with 6 different villains. There's Captain Hook, Maleficent, Jafar, Ursula, Prince John, and Queen of Hearts. And as you can see here, they all play against each other. Each one has their own little symbol, their little avatar that they use to track what they're doing. Here, I'll show you what's inside the box. A lot of plastic bags. So, Villainous. Here's the instruction manual. Now, I have actually removed the insert from this game because I wanted to be able to keep each villain in a separate bag. So I removed the insert and replaced it with just these bags. So first we have, this represents the energy in the game. This is kind of the currency, how you'll do certain things. You'll be able to use a certain amount of these to play cards or do other things in the game. There's other things like, let's see if I can, well here, let me go ahead and open it. So there are things like these lock tokens. So there are certain parts of your board that start locked, and you cannot access them until you do certain things. And then these are fate tokens. So the way that other players can mess with you is by playing what's called fate cards. Fate cards basically are the heroes in the story. So for example, Captain Hook, the fate cards are related to Captain Hook heroes, who Captain Hook is fighting. So Peter Pan, Wendy, the Lost Boys, they're in the fate deck. And what will happen is other players will pull from the other player's fate deck and play them on the player to prevent them from continuing with their objective. However, I forget how many players, this can go up to as many players as there are villains. So like in this game, if you want to play with all the villains, you could, and that would be a 6-player game, because there are 6 villains in this game. If you play with more than I think it's more than 4 or more players, whenever you fate someone, you give them this token, which makes them immune from being fated again. That prevents players from dogpiling on other players, so that you can't just pick on someone, because that's wrong. So these are the currency in the game. And as I said, I have separated everyone's cards into their own pack. So for instance, this is all the fate cards and play cards for Ursula. It has a little booklet that kind of lets you know how to play that character. I'll show you that. So here is Ursula. And inside it gives you strategies of how to play Ursula, because each deck is different. Has different strategies of how to win. Underneath all these, I have player boards for each player. So like right here is Prince John. I don't know if you can see that. There's Prince John. So all of them are in here. This is the cauldron that holds all the power. You put all the power tokens in here for storage. And then here are all of the tokens, the figurines, the miniatures for all the characters in this game. So, this is the base game, like I said, and they've come out with 2 expansions. This is the first expansion. Wicked to the core. In this expansion, you have 3 new villains that you can play. You have Hades, Dr. Facilier, and Evil Queen. just like the base game. Here we have the instruction book. And here's everything for the 3 players. So the player boards are underneath these cards, and here are all the decks of cards. And then here are the figures. I really like these figurines. So for instance, here's the one for Dr. Facilier. They're made of like a rubber or like a latex or something. Now, the expansion that just came out, the one I just got, is this one. Evil comes prepared. As you can see, there's a very familiar looking lion on the front of this. So this expansion comes with 3 new villains, just like the previous. Comes with Radigan, Scar, and Yzma. And as it says, standalone game or mix other villains. So technically, and I would not recommend this, you could play all 3, the 2 expansions and the base game, with all 12 villains. You could have a 12-player game. However, that game would probably go on for about a year, because even with all 6 players playing the base game, the game can drag on and on and on. If you like that kind of thing, go ahead and try it, but I personally, not so much. So, I actually haven't opened this yet. I did remove the sticky labels so I could open it, but let's get inside and see what we got. So, again, we have an instruction book. Tells you what you're getting inside the game, how to play, how to perform actions, and what you do on your turn. What kinds of cards there are in the game, what the cards do, what they look like, what kind of information is on them. The other games that we just went over. Frequently asked questions. So here we have a nice insert, which unfortunately I'm going to be getting rid of because, well, I'll show you in a little bit. So let's go ahead and get these out of here. So we have the figures for Dr. Radigan. So you see this cape here, except he has no head. What happened to his head? Interesting. Then we have the one for... I'm guessing this is Scar. Pretty sure this is Scar. And the one for Yzma, which is probably the neatest one. It's got the fluffy kind of boa thing that she wears. So there's those. Then we have the player boards. Let's see if we can unwrap this. Sometimes it can be a little difficult. Oh, there we go. Perfect. So we have Scar and his objective. As you can see, his player board here has places for the heroes, which go up here, and the allies, or the other bad guys, which go down there. Next we have Radigan. Oh, this is wicked. So delightfully wicked. And then finally, Yzma. Our moment of triumph approaches. Now, the rest of what should be in here are the manuals for each villain and their cards. So we'll go ahead and take those out. So we have Radigan. He has a special card because what happens is he starts with one objective, but if he can't complete it and it becomes impossible to complete it, then it flips over and it basically just changes to defeating Basil or Basil. So he's special. He gets that, and then with this villain guide, I will include one of these, which is a player aid, in each of the little bags I create. But there's Radigan. Here's Scar. And here's Yzma. Alright. So, now here we have some extra tokens, which I'll put in the base game. Because I typically would not bring this along to different places unless I brought all three of the boxes. So we have the decks. We have the deck for Yzma. We have the deck for Scar. And we have the deck for Radigan. So what you're going to be watching me doing is I like to protect my cards, as you know from my point salad video. So we're going to be sleeving these. So let's go ahead and start. So I am going to be using these perfect sized sleeves to keep them nice and snug in their sleeve so they don't fall out. I've already used part of this pack, so I know I will need several. I might as well take them out now. these other two. We'll see if we'll need more. If we do, they'll be right here. So let's start with Yzma. So remove these cards from this pack here. Let's see. I need to find the tab. Let's see. I think it's right here. Yep, it's right here. Okay. There we go. So, like I said, there are two different types of cards in this game. Fate cards, which have the white back, and then there are the other villain cards, which have the purple back. I'll go ahead and sleeve these. We'll start with the Fate cards. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and slide these in here. I'm really glad that they came out with games like these. It's really interesting how the board game hobby has really blown up. I mean, I enjoy a good board game, but I think theming is very important. So like a game like this, you know, I grew up on Disney. I remember I always wanted to be Ariel from The Little Mermaid. And then, you know, I grew up and wanted to be Ursula instead. It's funny how that happens. You kind of grow up rooting for the heroes, and then you realize, wait a minute, the villains have something here. I mean, Ursula, she was just sick of King Triton having all the power, not letting her have any. But I mean, granted, she did enslave several of the mermaids, so she probably wouldn't have been that great of a leader. But you never know. That's what happens when you have a underwater monarchy. An underwaterarchy. Yeah, so, I mean, I guess maybe Little Mermaid would be my favorite Disney movie. They've come out with some really good ones recently. My favorite recent one is Moana. I love Moana. It's a really well done Disney musical, and I love a good Disney musical. I'm really looking forward to the second Frozen movie that's coming out, I believe next month, from when this video will be posted. I don't think I'm going to go see it like opening night or anything, but I'll go see it eventually. I have a confession to make. I haven't actually seen this movie. Emperor's New Groove, yeah. I've been told it's really funny, but I haven't gotten around to watching it. It's probably blasphemous. I'll watch it at some point, especially when that new Disney streaming service comes out. I don't know if you've heard about this, the new Disney Plus. I mean, the last thing we need is another streaming service, right? 'Cause I got rid of Netflix. I have Hulu, but I don't know. I've actually just recently heard that it's free for a year for Verizon customers. So I guess if you're a Verizon customer that has, I think you have to have the unlimited plan or something like that. But, but yeah. But when I get that service, I'm assuming that this movie will be on it. And if it is, then I will definitely be checking it out. I just get so behind on things that I need to watch. I finished watching the Dark Crystal series. Now that is amazing. If you really like the Dark Crystal, I highly recommend the series. Really great storytelling. The practical effects are superb. It's just overall a great series. It's really sad though thinking about, because if you know the movie, you know that it doesn't end well for the Gelflings. So it's kind of sad, like kind of realizing that everything that's happening in the series basically there's a conclusion, an inevitable conclusion that, well, I won't spoil it if you haven't seen it. But I mean, if you haven't seen a movie from 1982, I doubt you're going to go out and watch it right now. So yeah, there's that. I've been rewatching Bob's Burgers. I've been trying to go back through that series because it's been forever since I've seen them. It's a great cartoon, very clever, very funny. I often go back and forth as to who I actually think I'm like in that. And, well, I'm pretty much a Tina. Just talking about butts all day long. Butts, 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 butts. Yeah. I was actually thinking the other day about that series and how we never see coming of age shows. Because, we talk about how boys and, hormones and want to constantly go after girls or boys or whatever they prefer. But girls have hormones too. And we never, talk about girls having like crushes and stuff, but Tina's got straight up lust. I think that's why or a lot of people, including myself, can definitely identify with her. So, this is our first. So we've sleeved all of Yzma's cards. So what we're going to go ahead and do is create her bag. So I have Ziploc bags, just normal sandwich bags that I use to help store these things. So we're going to take Yzma's booklet and her player guide. We're going to go ahead and, let's do this. We'll put these in first. And then we'll go ahead and, here, I'll put the, it's kind of hard to read. So we'll put the villain cards here so I can read Yzma when I go to pull this out from the box. Okay, get all the air out so it's not puffy, and then seal it. So there we go. There's Yzma's done. Put that off to the side. So next, we'll go ahead and do Scar. So let's go ahead and remove the packaging here. Again, let's see, gotta find that tab. I think it's right here. Okay, here we go. There's Simba right there. Right on top. Okay. We can go ahead and sleeve these. I'll do it like this. So, Lion King. It's been a long time since I've seen that movie. I did see the remake. Was not a fan. I applaud the effort trying to go for realism, but the animals were too realistic, I think. You couldn't see any of the emotion on their faces. It was basically just dialogue and CG effects of them, mouthing that dialogue. They should have gone either one way or the other. They should have either had it completely, I don't know if cartoonized or animated, where they kind of go more like the cartoon, where even though it's not as realistic, you can still see the emotion, the kind of humanistic emotion on the animals' faces, much like the cartoon. Or they could have gone like a Homeward Bound way, and where you hear the animals talking, but you don't see them talking. It, again, wouldn't have been as emotional, but it's more of like they're communicating in their own way, but it's like you hear the human language, you hear English or whatever you're listening to it in, but you're assuming that they're talking to each other, as animals do, however they communicate. But, yeah, not so much a fan of that one. There are other movies that they've done that have been really good. Like Jungle Book. The remake of that one was really, really good. Oh crap. Confusing myself. Yeah, Jungle Book was really well done. The live action remake of it. They're actually coming out with a live action Little Mermaid, which is weird because they're coming out with the live action movie, but they're also doing the live television event, which, why would you do both around the same time? It doesn't make sense. I'm actually more of a fan of the villain casting because actually in the movie that they're coming out with, Melissa McCarthy is going to be playing Ursula. Now, I love Melissa McCarthy. I think she's great. She's an amazing comedian, but I just don't see her as Ursula. Ursula is powerful, and Melissa McCarthy just strikes me as funny. I see her as like silly funny. Like, she does like slapstick and kind of crass humor very well, but I don't know. Now, in the live television event, they're actually going to be having Queen Latifah as Ursula, and that's just amazing casting. I think that is going to be just stellar. I think you need someone with gravitas, someone who's got presence, who can be funny, but also can be sultry, and can be fabulous, and can be, they actually, I believe I've read or heard that the original Ursula from The Little Mermaid was based on a drag queen named Davina. She was a very crass, very larger-than-life drag queen, very adult. So, of course, they had to tone that down for the children's movie. But I definitely could see that. I think, of having an actual drag queen, I think having someone like Queen Latifah as Ursula is a decent second choice. I think she's going to do wonderfully in the live TV event. I just wish that she was in the movie. Oh well. Can't have everything. A few of the other decent Disney live-action remakes. I actually enjoyed Beauty and the Beast. Some people think that it was too much of a shot-by-shot remake. I can see that argument, but I enjoyed it for what it is. It did lack a little spirit, like it just... if I were given the choice, I probably still would go back and watch the original. I didn't hate it. I know I'm giving a really glowing recommendation of that movie, aren't I? I think the acting, everything was decently done, but it didn't really blow me away. I took all that out just for one, but we still have another deck, so it's okay. Alright, so we have Scar's deck. Scar. This deck is completed. So let's go ahead and create his bag now. So we have Scar with his player aid. We'll go ahead and put them in here. With this deck of cards. Again, get all the air out. There we go. So that Scar's done. We have one more left to do. And that is Ratigan. Which, another movie that I haven't seen. I think Isn't it The Rescuers, I think? Isn't that what it's from? I think. I don't remember. I haven't seen. I know it's an older movie. Alright. So, Radigan. I went and saw the Aladdin live action remake. Yeah, that one didn't really. I mean, I feel like it shouldn't have been called Aladdin. It should have been called Jasmine because it was really all about Princess Jasmine, which I am here for. It should be about, or some of the movies should be about the female protagonist. That isn't just, another princess. I mean, technically, Jasmine is a princess, but Aladdin just his role was not that, it didn't feel very substantive. Will Smith is Genie, and no problem with that. Of course, no one can replace Robin Williams, but I think Will Smith was a decent choice. But again, these stories lack spirit. I would rather them come up with original stories like Moana, like Frozen, kind of bring back the heyday of, Disney animation, especially Disney musical, because I love a good musical. Something that'll make me feel things, my cold dead heart, make me feel again. But and we don't need all these sequels either. Frozen, I mean, yes, I'm looking forward to Frozen 2, because I really enjoyed Frozen 1 actually quite a bit. But, I don't think we would need, a Moana 2, A lot of these stories should just be left alone. Granted, though, if they want to make a Moana 2, I'm not going to not watch it. Especially if the music's as good as it was in Moana, because that was really good stuff. And I know, what was it, Lin-Manuel had a hand in writing that music. He's a really talented writer. Did Hamilton, and the music in that is really good. The writing is really good. Yeah, I could totally see myself playing King George in that. I really like the character of King George in Hamilton. I think he's just the right amount of hateability, where you just love to hate him. I think it's fun to play a villain sometimes. Most of the time. For me, at least. Villains give you the freedom to kind of act out, certain things that aren't considered acceptable in modern society. Obviously, you're not going to go murdering people or, being an asshole, because please just don't do that. Be a good person, or at least try to be in real life. But you can entertain these ideas, these darker inclinations, and it can be a lot of fun. Especially around this time, Halloween is coming up, and that's perfect time to dress up and kind of be a more evil version of yourself. Or even a weirder version by, societal norms. Do you, be yourself. Make yourself happy. We only have one life to live. You should live it. I know, easier said than done, right? Because it's very hard not to care about what people think of you. And to, judging stares. But, I mean, people are going to judge you no matter what, so why not give them something good to judge you about? Something that you actually don't mind being judged for. Because it's you. It's a part of you. Anyway, we have completed Radigan's deck. One of these feels a little off. Hold on. No, never mind. Must be my imagination. Right, wait, hold on. Up there, here. This one just didn't go in all the way. There we go. Okay. Perfect. So last bag. And that's the one with the special token. So we'll go ahead and put that in with the rest of his stuff. So let's empty out all the air. Perfect. Okay, so now that we have all three decks, we'll go ahead and put them in the box. Put these to the side. We didn't need that many packs of sleeves after all. So, unfortunately, although this is a very nice insert, it will not do for our purposes because these sleeved cards do not fit in here very well. So, bye-bye. Now the first thing that I will put in here is these player boards. So I'll put these in here. Then we'll go ahead and put these cards in here. Now these I'm actually going to put in the base game. I wonder if I can fit, I think I can, well, we'll see. We'll go ahead and empty these out. Put those in the base game later. Let's see, I think, I might be able to fit all three in here. Let's try it. So there's one. Here, we'll put this one in upside down. There's two. It's gonna be tight. Come on. It doesn't want to go in. Okay, there's two. This one, yep, this one's too big. Alright, so fortunately, I have this other bag that the other things came in. I think it should fit in that one. I'm just gonna take those out. So yeah, this bag here They should fit in this one. So I'll put the fatty in first, then we'll put the other two in. There we go. Perfect. And that will go right there. And then go ahead and put the instruction booklet on top. And then this will complete that. So there it is, Villainous. Evil comes prepared. It's been very nice chatting with you all tonight. And now that I'm better, I'm hoping that I can get more videos out. Because I have other things I need to sleeve and show you some of my other favorite games. So I'm hoping that we can do that very soon. But until then, I will see you guys later.